Hey everyone, it's Maya. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, I know, but I am back and I'm very excited to be making YouTube videos again. Today I want to talk about birth control and specifically Nexplanon and my experience with it. I finally have crossed like the 8-month mark, and once you get to about 6 months, you can kind of tell what effects are there to stay and what's going to be like your new normal. Up until then, it's a little all over the place. So now that I have passed that mark, I feel confident enough to kind of explain my experience and share it a little bit more, have a little bit more knowledge on what the effects of Nexplanon for me have been. So I just wanted to share that today. Ultimately, this is not going to be me recommending or not recommending Nexplanon, because that choice is up to you if you're thinking about it. Take the information that I give and put that alongside information you get from your other research and kind of decide what's important to you and what's going to work and not work for you. And hopefully this video is helpful in you reaching a decision on all of that. So before we get started, I wanted to give a very quick overview of Nexplanon and what it is, in case any of you are unfamiliar or you wanted more information on that. And I will link some information in the description box as well, so you can peruse all of that beforehand. So Nexplanon is a birth control method, otherwise known as the implant. An earlier version of it was called Implanon, and it's a rod the size of a matchstick. It's very small, and it's just inserted in your upper arm. It's typically inserted in your non-dominant arm, so if you're right-handed, it'll be placed in the opposite arm. So for most people, it's in the upper left arm. Nexplanon is 99% effective because it's always on, it's always working. You don't have to wake up and take a pill every day or at the same time. So you can't make any mistakes that threaten the effectiveness of it like you can with the pill or with other methods. The cost ranges from $0 to about $1,300 according to Planned Parenthood. Most insurances will cover it. I didn't pay anything for mine with insurance, so that was a plus. It also lasts about 3 to 5 years. I'm not sure what distinguishes that, but I know I will have to get mine replaced at 3 years, so I think a safe bet for anyone would be 3. It uses one hormone, progestin. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I totally could not be. And it prevents pregnancy by thickening the mucus around the cervix so that sperm can't pass through. And it also prevents eggs from being released, so it prevents ovulation. It does not, however, prevent against STDs, so it's best used with another type of birth control method like condoms or something like that. And obviously regular testing between everyone involved is always a plus and a must even. If you get Nexplanon within, I think, the first 5 days of your cycle or your period, you can get started right away and it'll be effective. If not, it'll be effective within 1 week, and I will have that information down below or on screen, so that's a little bit easier. There are a number of side effects that go along with Nexplanon. I will have those on the screen as well, just so you can look over that yourself. Unfortunately, the sad reality of birth control for women is that there are a lot of side effects that can be very threatening, and that's just kind of been the rule of the game for some time. So I was very aware of these side effects and willing to risk that because there were not that many better alternatives. So hopefully that gets better over time, but for right now, that was kind of to be expected. Okay, so now that I have done all of that, I can go ahead and get started into my experience with Nexplanon. I got Nexplanon in November of 2018. I decided to get it for a variety of reasons, but the two main ones being it was very low maintenance and I didn't have to get up and remember to take anything, and it was very effective, and it lasted a long time. So with the 3-year thing, that was probably the biggest push for me to get it. I didn't know how much longer I'd be able to be on my parents' insurance since I was graduating, and then obviously with the political climate and landscape that we're in and the way that women's reproductive rights are being threatened and just attacked, I wanted to get something that would give me a little bit more security for a little bit longer, since everything is a little bit volatile right now. So like I said, I got it back in November, and I went to Planned Parenthood to get it. I called a few days in advance to schedule an appointment, and then I went the week of Thanksgiving break when I had a little bit more free time. Everything was pretty straightforward. I'd never been to Planned Parenthood before, so I could do like a few extra forms, the same way you do for any other clinic or doctor's office, but everything was pretty good. A nurse practitioner was the one who inserted, and she put a lot of like numbing solution like shot around, so I didn't feel anything. I didn't watch her as she put it in, and I didn't have any clue on how it was inserted until I got home and decided to watch a video then. But I didn't want to watch it beforehand and freak myself out, and it was totally fine because I couldn't feel a thing. Afterwards, my arm was a little sore. That was to be expected. A lot of bruising, but nothing too like alarming. It wasn't bleeding very badly. And she made me feel around and make sure I could feel it so that I knew where it was supposed to be in case it's not there for some reason later. And then I was instructed that if the bleeding didn't stop or if the bruising was getting worse, to come back, but everything was totally fine. By the time I got home, I did have a really, really bad headache, and that could have been for a number of reasons, like me not drinking enough water, my hair being too tight. I had a weird experience, or not even weird, but negative experience with a protester outside of Planned Parenthood. So all of those things could have been contributing to it, and I probably just needed a nap. So I took some, like a leave or something at that point and took a nap, and by the time I woke up, that was gone. Other than that, everything was pretty good, and I couldn't even really tell I had it. I took the wraps off like before it was recommended because they were very thick, and I felt like I didn't need it anymore. Like everything was transitioning like very fine. So that was all good. The biggest side effect that I noticed was a few days after I got it inserted, I was with a friend and we decided to go to CVS. We had been like having a movie night, and we each had like one glass of very, very weak wine. So just, we're feeling like just like we had been anyway. But by the time we got to CVS, I had like a really difficult time scanning my objects at the self-checkout and pressing the numbers. I remember like I just felt very heavy, and like even walking through the aisles, I kind of felt like I was fading in and out of everything. And then I passed out over the cash register. And it was very like weird because I couldn't tell what was happening. And even after the fact, I kept trying to figure out like what had happened, and my friend didn't know because, it was just, I fell out like over the thing. I didn't like fall completely on the ground or anything. It was very like low key, but we were both kind of alarmed. And after the fact, I realized that I had fainted. Because I had done it in the past before, and it was something that I recognized, but it had been so long, I kind of forgotten what it felt like. And the only like change in my life that I could pinpoint that to was Nexplanon, and one of the side effects, as you remember, is like dizziness and things like that. So that was one of those things. I tried to, for the next few days, stay put in a single area for most of the time, and all of that. So, it was fine. I just been it was very confusing. I was like, I'm not drunk because I just had like half a glass of very, very like low alcohol content wine. And I also was like, am I just sleepy? But I've never been sleepy enough to just like fall asleep standing up in a public place. So once I figured out what it was, I was less alarmed and just kind of more aware of other potential side effects, but I didn't get anything else after that. So one of the biggest effects of Nexplanon is with your period. So about a third of people lose their period altogether, and that's just for like the time while they're on it. And for a while I thought I was gonna be in that group, and it's still kind of different from month to month. Some months it's just spotting for like a couple of days, and some months it's like a little spotting over the course of many more days, like maybe a week or so. Some months it's like more of like a regular period, so that's probably like the one thing that I'm still trying to figure out. But I can definitely tell that it's changed a bit. But at this point, I still do have a period, and I haven't like lost it. Before getting Nexplanon, my period was still kind of irregular and very light, so none of that has really changed that much. It's still very light. I've never had like a heavy flow or anything. It only lasts a few days most of the time, like 4 at the most. So yeah, that's all been pretty typical, and I'm still kind of waiting to see how that's going to level out. But at this point, I'm pretty confident in saying that I'll probably like still have a period and it'll still be like very light. It's getting a little bit more regular, which is really great as far as like planning purposes go, but very light and very short. So I think that's where I'm going to be at for the rest of the 3-year period. So my overall thoughts with Nexplanon, I am very happy that I got it. Aside from the fainting situation, which happened like a few days after it was inserted, I haven't had any other issues with it. I haven't had any noticeable side effects. Things might be happening that just kind of feel like normal, mood swings or anything like that. But nothing's been alarming. So I think in terms of birth control methods, it's been very, very low maintenance as promised, and just very it's been very low maintenance. So I can't really think of another word, but yeah, I would, if you've done your research and you're sure that it's right for you, I would recommend it. I would at least recommend looking into it and asking your doctor about it. Some people have a lot of concerns over it, which are understandable. But I felt like with any birth control method, there was going to be a collection of horror stories that went along with it, and I had to kind of make my own decision, kind of excluding all of that. So I decided to go on Nexplanon. I am very happy with my decision, and overall I would recommend it with a ton of research and conversations with your doctor. If you know people who have it or who have other methods, talk to them as well. And hopefully this video was helpful. If you have Nexplanon or if you have another type of birth control method that you prefer and recommend, then comment that down below. Share this video if you find it helpful. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And follow me on social media. I give updates there on different things, so I would love to see you over there. But I will see you all soon, and thanks for watching. Bye.